Good day, gentle viewers. This is Alistair Reviews It, and today we are going to review Iron Gold.
Cool.
Okay, so first I'm going to do a quick review / reaction, spoiler free, and then I'm going to delve into my actual thoughts about the book and talking about characters and just like talking it out, basically. Before we continue with this video, I want to give 2 shout outs to 2 YouTubers who have welcomed me into this booktube community. We have Peter Likes Books and we have Christina's Bookshelf. Peter Likes Books, Peter Mon, has inspired me to do the booktube newbie tag. Well, Christina's Bookshelf focuses a lot on romances and other books as well. And she has inspired me to do my favorite romance book video. If you do not know what romance is, it means male romance. So I'm leaving their links down below, so please check out their channels, subscribe, and let them know I sent you. Okay, so I love this series, but again, I was a little uneasy about this new trilogy, mainly because it's told from different points of view. So this has been a turnoff for me before in different books, like for example the Aragon books, once it moved on to the eldest ones and there was multiple characters. I did not like that. It bored me. It kind of cut me off from the book. It's kind of like you have this momentum and then it's just shot. So that makes these books a little off-putting, which makes them a little easier to put down. After stating my qualms about this book, I do really like the new characters. It made it so that even when I was done with one character's chapter, I was excited to start the other character. This book itself is actually a little bit of a change because he goes from just telling this really enthralling, fast-paced story to really delving into characters, character development, and just really giving a 360-degree view of what the situation is for this world. And now we're basically looking at the effects of what happened in the first trilogy. It was a great read. I give it a 4 out of 5. The reason I don't give this book a 5 is because although it's great, although I love the writing, although I love the new characters, because it was split into so many different characters and this book is only this long, I felt like it was more like 4 short stories than one whole book. So now I'm going to go into my spoiler review. I'm going to give you about 5 seconds to click off. Hello, gentle viewers! Welcome to my spoiler review of Iron Gold. Oh my goodness, I loved reading Darrow. Oh my gosh, it was basically like seeing an old friend from high school that you really miss. Darrow in this book was a little different. He was kind of a pessimist. And I understand why he would be a pessimist, because like the Red Rose, you know, he broke the chains and then he delved into this bureaucratic, democratic government that's much slower than the government before and that provides a lot more red tape to what he feels he needs to do to actually like accomplish his goals and ridding the universe, the solar system of the society. It actually made me upset a couple times throughout the book when he would decide things for others. I mean, he basically murdered 1 million people in order to take over Venus, which was the stronghold for basically the remnants of the society. And he sentenced 1 million people to their death. And not only did he do that, he did that contrary to what his democratic government, the government that he had sworn to, told him to do. And that was just because he did not want to play the long form. He did not want to siege Venus. And instead he wanted to provide quick action and just destroy them. And then ask for more troops to be delivered to him so he can regrow his army. And I think that's careless. I think it's callous. And I think in a lot of ways he's turning into the people he was fighting. Okay, so next we're going to go into Lyria of Lagalos. So I actually enjoyed the fact that we had a female red in the mix of it, One, because we didn't see, well, actually, because I wanted a perspective of a red, really, who wasn't Darrow, who hadn't been kind of turned into a gold. And it's interesting to me because she is exactly who he was fighting for. For reds like her that were beneath the surface of Mars, toiling away, fighting and mining for a world that they didn't know had already been created. But once she gets to the surface, the society promises her and her family and the rest of the Reds asylum and a new life, but they're stuck in these camps where, they're terrorized and they're tormented, and really the society breaks the promise that it gave them. That actually kind of goes into Lysander Alun. If you remember, Lysander is Octavia Alun's grandson, so he's kind of the heir to the Lune throne. And he's also mentored by Cassius, Darrow's lover. I mean, should have been lover. So that kind of provides a good basis because he goes into the Jupiter moons where they have created a society of their own. But this society is a little different because it's basically what the Iron Golds, the actual people who created the society, meant for it to be. A self-sufficient society where everybody in the hierarchy actually plays their roles. They're all very respected. They respect each other, each other's roles, and really it's not so much of an elitist society, but a society where everybody knows their roles. Like, obviously, like, I'm all for, the Reds breaking the chains and society being equal and everybody being able to do whatever they need to do and be able to achieve whatever dreams they want to achieve, be able to, have their kids grow up to be whoever they want to be. But in the context of the book, the way the stark differences in how they portray the new democracy of the new government and the possibility of this perfect society that just never made it through. It makes me think that Lysander might have an argument, honestly. So it doesn't mean that it's going to reach any sort of fruition, because it might work in a closed system of those moons, but that doesn't mean it's going to work throughout the actual solar system. There's too many people, there's too many different sects that go into it, I think. Oh, and Cassius. If you're at this point of the spoiler review, I'm sure you know that Cassius died. And from what I read, so Pierce Brown was trying to give a death worthwhile for the character of Cassius. And I see what he's doing by pitting him against one swordsman against another swordsman against another swordsman, and him beating them down one at a time, and just being able to be super injured and really just accomplish dueling all of these people, kind of cementing his name as one of, if not the greatest swordsman in the solar system. But I just didn't feel the emotion. I didn't feel the emotion I thought I should have felt. I loved this character, and I loved what he brought to the books, and I just didn't feel that emotion. And at the same time, I don't think he's actually dead. I don't think he's dead, because we never saw his body. They just talked about it. He was alive by the time that they finished, and we never actually saw him die. So if you don't see a body, he ain't dead. Okay, last one is Ephraim T. Horn. I would say that I was happy about the turn of events of having one of the main characters be gay. And not just his storyline wasn't about him being gay. He just happened to be gay. And he just happened to have that fiance who died when they rescued Darrow from the little lion. So Ephraim T. Horn is a gray who worked for the Sons of Ares for a while until a little bit after his fiance died, defending Darrow. And he's kind of ambivalent about the world. He's kind of dejected. He's given up on the world. He gives into physical pleasures, really anything to kind of make the time go. It's like he's given up on life. And what he does instead is he's a criminal. He smuggles, he steals things, and he does so professionally. And he has this little team. It's a red, it's a green, and then it's a experimental obsidian. Oh, what's her name? Volga. Volga. Colleague of Ephraim in Obsidian. And she's kind of a smaller Obsidian, but she's funny because she is so sweet. She actually reminds me of one of my friends, Tiara. And she just doesn't want to hurt. Well, she doesn't want to kill anything. So all the weapons she uses are for not killing. They're basically just to stun people or to like make them pass out or anything like that. And she's always got Ephraim's back because Ephraim took her away from Earth and took her away from being a slave. And so she kind of feels like she's indebted to him. Ephraim himself just doesn't care about anything. And he puts himself in a situation where these people take advantage of him, and it's like a underground mafia takes advantage of him and has him steal Severo and Darrow's kids. And damn, at that point, I was actually surprised that Volga stayed because of her morality and everything, her consciousness that goes with it. That goes with this, and he stole the two kids, and he did this by tricking Lyria of Lagalos. He befriended her, he told her stories, and then basically he used her to get into Pax Telemanis's jet and steal these two kids. I have no idea for what purposes, because he was caught. Once Lyria went to the government, he was caught. He was able to wrangle a deal, and he stole them back. The only thing here is that Lyria did the right thing. She understood something was wrong, and she went to the government. She apologized, and she said, "What can I do to help?" Ephraim T. Horn did the wrong thing. He just didn't care. He was manipulated himself, but when it came time to do what was right, he also manipulated a deal for himself where he kind of gets off scot-free, whereas Lyria is most likely going to spend the rest of her days in jail. Final thoughts. I enjoyed the book as a whole. Like I said, I think the book was a lot more about character development and really reflecting on the decisions of, destroying the government and what they actually meant for everybody in the solar system, and looking at it through the eyes of a lowly red, of Darrow himself looking back at it, of a gray who was part of the casualties of the war, and of Lysander who probably should have inherited the actual society but never got to because it was stolen from him. Stay tuned for more videos. We're trying to catch up. I'm going to be coming out with my review of Ready Player One, my first book haul, which I filmed the other day, and my favorite MM romances. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. Alistair reviews it. Hasta luego.